Sit up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywhere you want to.
Can they each have a gavel?
No, no, we're not giving no nothing to swing it. Right, that's.
Over here.
Anywhere you want to.
Right. No, I should have brought it. Oh, good, you brought it.
There's some agendas and then minutes from the past meeting if you care to look at them.
Every day a little better. He's bossy, you know?
Okay, today at the meeting, here, this Worrell, Chief Fry, Mr. Morgan, June Schwartz, Deb Morgan, Ms. Dykema, Carol, I don't know your last name.
Larson.
And then.
Nutting.
Okay. Carol, did you get on?
Juanita Nutting.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you want to sit up here by us?
I'm good.
Okay. Everybody has copies of the previous minutes from the last meeting, so if there's any questions, we'll take them from you. Or if you want to look at something and discuss it, otherwise I will move on to the next order of business. Anybody have anything in the past minutes?
I think Halloween was great.
I think Halloween was wonderful.
Yeah.
We at 5:30, we had gone through 250 hot dogs and chips and drinks and the snow brought a lot more people in. So it was a great time. It was very, very good. The first thing I have on my topic here is tree lighting. Gary, do we have a date and time and?
December 1st, but you needed to talk about the time. I'm not exactly sure what's a good time.
It starts so early, you
Yeah.
know.
What would be good for somebody like you with a kid?
You know, you wanna have dinner, you know, so they don't come cranky and angry. I don't know, maybe like now-ish, 6:30, 6, and do like, go for whatever you guys. But everybody's different, you know, people work anytime, so.
Well, we've never had a huge turnout. I don't think you can depend on it.
No. We had a good turnout when we had.
What day was
this year, like those Girl Scouts.
What day
came
is
back
December
or something.
1st?
And
It's a
it
Friday,
was the
right.
Girl Scouts came. So that's a possibility. The previous time, it was
Friday.
basically people showed up and she had carols. And it was a combination, Chamber of Commerce, Grant Park Foundation, and Village, sort of those three groups kind of participated in that informal, and then the Fest Committee took over the one that was here and made a big deal out of getting a lot of people. A lot of people showed up.
But it's gonna be here only, the tree thing?
No, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be over.
By the sign,
Okay, sorry.
By the new path or what side?
No,
by the Grant Park sign,
Oh, right over here, okay, sorry.
it's Chamber Garden, generally, the foundation usually does that. She had a scarecrow, she's got the corn shocks there now. That's what
So,
we've been putting the tree the last 5 years.
so do you want to look at a time maybe at the next meeting and then we can put it out there for
Well,
people?
we can just kind of decide. I mean,
Okay.
she's saying 6:30. Does
Yeah.
that sound okay?
Does that sound okay to you?
Yep.
Do you have a preference for 6 or for 6:30? Christine, what would be good for you guys?
Well, we close at 5:30 now, so
Oh,
6 would be fine.
6 is good?
Yeah, I would say 6 or, because I feel like,
late, yeah.
yeah, because I feel like this time of year, because it's dark, people feel like it's like 10 o'clock. And then we get closer to 7, that's when a lot of people start putting their kids to bed.
Okay,
So,
so
6 o'clock? Okay, we'll.
Or you could do 6:15 if you want.
No, okay, no, that's too much, 6 o'clock, it's either
Let's
6
do
or, yeah, we're
6.
going half hour into this here. so-
and just so you know, Pat Paul reached out to me the other day to say that the fire department would like to send a Santa Claus. They're not gonna say definitely that he's coming, but he's gonna put it, if enough kids show up, the Santa Claus will come, but I think the Santa Claus is gonna come.
Okay.
They'll bring him in a fire engine, and we just have to tell him when, maybe 6:15 or something.
That'd be
The
fine.
Tree lighting events at 6, and then.
We
they
put it
show up-
December 1st, 6 o'clock, and then maybe a mystery.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what he wanted the
Yeah.
advertising to say.
Well, then that would bring people in too, because they're like, gee, I wonder what's gonna happen. Now, if someone would wanna help you set up or decorate or something, could you use any help?
Usually 3 of us put it up in half an hour.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't do much in the way of decorating. It's just lit.
yeah.
It's just.
Well, I didn't know if you needed help, because someone may say, hey, if I could help these guys and,
What else happens is, the maintenance department helps us bring the sleigh over.
okay,
And so that's a possibility, or we can load it on the trailer and pull it in, so that even is better than it used to be too. Because we usually put the sleigh that's stored down at the maintenance building along with the tree.
all right.
Christine, what-
Yeah, so I just wanna make sure, do you want me to put this in the paper yet or no? Do you want me to hold on?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
let's-
okay.
Yeah, we need to put the word out.
So you want me to title it, Grant Park Tree Lighting Ceremony?
Sure.
Okay.
Or official tree lighting, or
Right, yeah.
something like, whatever title you want.
Okay, and then, so, oh, yeah, should I
Be careful,
mention
no.
Santa or not
Be
yet?
careful, it's too early. You don't really know.
So
that.
Santa may make it.
You Santa may make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I think the fire department is gonna make it.
Maybe, yeah,
Depending on his schedule.
so that just means one of you guys
If you're-
dress up.
Well, no. The fire department, I think it's the Santa that's like the tree something, or they mentioned wicks and something with the Santa, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, okay, so then there was another question I had, besides this one, let me finish with this, so are you talking about the sign where you usually have the
right
wagon,
across.
like in the middle,
buildings.
Yes.
like so along the railroad tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the corner one
No,
by
right
Plain.
across from Dillman's Hardware.
Okay, thank you, across from Dillman's,
Yeah.
okay, so,
Years and years ago, we put it up on that one that you're talking about across from Flanagan's,
yeah,
but it's very specialized. I mean, it's basically a hole and the clamps are not really very good.
okay,
We've had it blow down there a couple of times. Of course, it's blown down over here too, but we've got better setup with clamps in the ground to.
Yeah,
tie it in.
you can't tie that one down without going over the sidewalk.
Oh, that was right, because it's close to the sidewalk, okay.
You get one of those big switches you throw,
We've got the old Chamber of Commerce switch,
cause I, maybe probably one from Mitch's.
or there's that
He's
possibility.
got this electric one, and makes all kinds of noise when you flip it.
Yeah, we used something last year, I mean, there were only a few people there for it, but that seemed to work, and I can't remember what we used.
Didn't you do it in the park here last
Yeah, we
That
did
was
it
really
right
nice,
by
but then you
the-
can see how.
The tree over there.
All right,
Oh,
so,
and I think, JD, were you there? I think you actually plugged it in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too, yeah, it was like a piece of PVC that, the big box, kind of a Christmas present looking thing.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a dynamite.
Oh, yeah, that's somewhere else.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, we'll have some kind of.
so we figured December 1st, 6 o'clock, and
Yes.
maybe with a guest from the north.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay,
All right.
so,
and then I had one more question, we were talking about doing, a Santa Claus at the bike shop, and I have like a popcorn machine, that's we do that free, people just bring their phones, take pictures. But the guy that I talked to, he lives right by St. George Church, off of St. George Road. And he said he was doing a Santa Claus somewhere in Grant Park, and he said at, a tree farm, and I'm like, it's not through the village, is it? And that's all I wanted to make sure, you guys didn't have anything planned? Okay, I was thinking December 16th, but I don't know if that's too close to Christmas.
Yes. I'm always looking for something to do.
Yeah, right, yeah, all right, so I just wanna make sure that wasn't butting into anything you were doing,
No.
or because he said he was doing one in Grant Park, and I'm like, oh, well, be a little tight, having the same guy. Or unless it's reinstating that that's really Santa Claus. But anyways, okay, good, thank you.
Mrs. Morgan, I read your email, and I like that you guys are well organized here and everything. Is there anything you'd like to discuss about it? It's all pretty straightforward. I think it sounds good. And when we get closer, then we'll talk about what kind of help you're gonna need as far as when you wanna set up this stuff.
Right,
But let's share with them what we did.
well, we did with him.
Not with us.
Oh, with everybody. Okay.
You did.
We
Yes,
are.
we did.
Okay, let's see, we, got the theme and decorations rolling, we're calling it Out of Hiker Nation. The decor is, cabin theme. The goal is to, there is also a goal to eliminate as much single-use plastic as possible, so instead of using the plastic tablecloths, we've got, I've got some black tablecloths all set to go. I think, what, 20 of them, honey? I don't think I'm gonna need 20, but we'll see. And then we can run some burlap down the center of it or, buffalo clad. So that's in the works.
Some greenery.
Right, and I've got some candles now for that too, so it's all gonna be kind of like that. I've also got a campfire, indoor. Electric one, but what we're gonna do is set up a corner that'll have, just lit Christmas trees. I mean, not decorated or anything, just lit Christmas trees, or maybe not even lit. I don't know. We figured that
It
out.
could be clear lights.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's either white or not at all, and then the campfire in the middle and maybe some logs or something to sit on and make it kind of a cute picture. If we're gonna put some, snowflakes on the ceiling. Cabin rules on the table, like get cozy, look at the stars, blah, blah, those are the rules. Bennett Curtis is going to have a, station with, s'mores set up, so if the kids wanna come and cook a marshmallow and put that together, we can do that, depending on how all you wanna do with food, because I'm not in charge of food, I'm just
No,
saying.
well,
that's
we're gonna
available.
discuss some of that this evening, but go ahead and.
Okay.
Whoever wears flannel gets a free raffle ticket for something.
Okay,
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cost of bingo could be at the door, but rather than selling cards at each game at tableside, because that's a big pain in the patoot. But it's up to you guys about that.
I'm gonna leave the bingo up to our bingo expertise and he can coordinate what's gonna go on.
Okay, these were just some thoughts that we had. Those were our random ideas. We have, if there is a need for a dance floor, perhaps it's a smaller one, because apparently not a lot of people dance. A lot of kids run around on it and stuff, but even if we do put it down, what we want to do is on each table that's going to be moved, it needs to be marked real clearly. This table is going to be moved. Sit here if you want, but we're moving this table.
That's a good idea.
So, and we're thinking about, red and black, kind of advertising and flyer, if we're in charge of that, I don't know about that either. And that's pretty much it, unless I missed something, but I'm saying.
Do we set a date?
Yes,
17th February.
February 17th.
Yeah.
Or like these sponsorships, should we be
but it's in the-
for gift cards as well for prizes?
You wanna touch on that a little bit?
I'm going around doing sponsorship letters to help get some funding. Should I ask for gift cards while I'm out?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, just to get out of it.
It's anything you wanna do, it's all bingo at that.
Okay, I just wanna see what, while I'm out. how
Yeah,
it goes.
it's really hard to do by yourself,
Okay.
so,
Well, this week, actually, I just gave her a list. I'm gonna send out 60 sponsorship letters. And I gave her the list of the people that I'm sending them out to, and I have a sample here somewhere. I'm well organized, as you can see. But as soon as I find it, I'll show you what it looks like.
Ben, do we go out and solicit donors?
No, you don't need to. If you want to, I'm gonna leave that up to you. Morgan and I are gonna get started with it, with the mailing of the sponsorship.
And how do we
letters.
do that? Do we carry identification or
don't worry about it, don't do it.
don't worry about?
Don't do it, because we ask these people over and over and over again through the year. So, it's like for the cabin fever reliever, and then it'll be for the October, it's not October, for the fall fest or whatever, and then it'll be boo bingo, and then it'll be, it's a lot. So,
Yeah.
just my opinion on this, but it's dangerous, I think.
Yeah, and you live in a small town and you have limited resources to go to. You go to the well too many times and the well starts to dry up.
Yeah,
People are willing to give, but there's a limit to that. So we do
Okay.
have to approach it the best we can this is our chance to make money to put on other events through the year, but we have to approach it in a courteous way. Not to keep hitting the same people over and over again, because besides cabin fever, there's other things that come up
Yeah.
through the year and people can only give so many times. And
I
even,
just didn't know if
Yeah.
I was to do that, how I would. do
no, we're, actually, I found the sponsor letter and I'll, ladies can see what it looks like. I'm gonna be sending 60 out this week. And that's kind of what it looks like. And we'll see what kind of response we get back from people.
If you email me that tonight, I can send it with the newspaper.
Yeah, I will. Well,
It'll be on social media in general, and I will try to keep the class things in there, I think, but if somebody ever said that they weren't asked, they would have made a donation, we'll try to get it out there that way. Just kind of throughout between now and the event. And then as things come in, of course, monetary ones, we don't mention the amount, we put thank yous up there, and I felt like at the end of it last year, those who are looking at the Facebook and they're like, oh, so-and-so's insurance company, I'm gonna go ahead and send them a little check. It felt like that, but maybe it's always like that, because it was my first time being a part of it.
It's amazing how many citizens will come up with it too. I mean, if they believe in what you're doing, they're the ones that step up, so.
and what we'll do also is anybody who donates whatever to our cabin fever, I will, after I did handwritten notes, thank you note to them, and I will do the same thing this year. It makes it seem like you're really,
More personal.
yeah, you're really thanking them instead of just saying making some Xerox copies of thank you cards and saying, you know, thanks a lot. It's like, thank you. I know you didn't have to do this, but we appreciate it. I will take care of that. So you ladies have anything else that you would like to bring up? I appreciate what you've done. I think it's some great ideas. Yeah, it's great. So, the next thing is entertainment, Ms. Worrell. You want to touch base on that a little bit?
Yes, I reached out to a lot of people and a lot of people already booked, which understandable, her music's hard to find. But I did get KGB, I think they did really well last year, I think it's good for the community. People loved them for your event as well, I think it's just a fun time, so. I do have a contract here to vote on for tonight for them. They'll play from 8 to 11 for Cabin Fever, so hopefully that'll work out good. Don't see why not. So we got some music.
And then you'll coordinate that with Mr. Morgan, because with his bingo and whatever time you feel like you wanna, you guys can work that out. Okay.
No,
So,
we'll happen.
you all set?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
The next thing I have is sponsorships, and Ms. Worrell and myself, that letter I showed you, we're gonna be taking care of and sending those out to people. I'm trying to figure a good time to send them. I don't want to get too close to the holiday, and then people are like, you know, I got Christmas, Thanksgiving, I got all this stuff coming up. I really don't wanna donate right now, so I'm gonna send them out. We'll see what happens. We're gonna keep a list who the letters that we sent out, so we don't send multiple letters to the same person. We're also gonna be talking to people in person and seeing if they care to participate with a donation to our cabin fever relief.
Does anybody know in the past when the letters were sent out for Cabin Fever, if it was before New Year's or I don't know? Maybe sooner the better, if we don't hear better, we can touch base with them.
Well, I think just sending them out now, you wait too close to the holiday and then,
Right.
you know, it's a choice between a holiday or this, so.
Right.
The next thing I have on my list thanks, Jim, is any thoughts on food and alcohol?
No, I think the beef went well last year, granted we ran out, it seemed like people liked it, you know,
Well, I think you're successful when you run out instead of having
too much.
Too much.
too much
Something
food, and then
different.
now you're gonna get, it's like the food at our Christmas dinner, because of the health department rules, you cannot just give the food away, you have to give it to the people that are here.
Okay.
So it'd be the same thing of having a lot of excess food in the kitchen, and what do we do with it? Unfortunately, it'd be great if the last person that comes up and gets a sandwich that night, you ran out,
Right.
that would be the perfect world,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
so anyway, I was just wondering if anybody had any thoughts. I have a few. Yes, ma'am.
And I don't mean to offer it up unless it's already been discussed, but why not pizza by the slice from Trax? Like they're right there. I don't know if that's already been discussed, but I was like, pizza by the slice, like kids love it, you know, that seems like it'd be a big sell.
I'm open for ideas. We do have a little time, but not a lot, because I don't know how many people we served last year, 300 maybe.
I was thinking you had pizza also last year.
Because we ran out
We
of.
ran out, so we bought pizzas from Ray Ray's and from Trax.
Mhm.
So people at the end, we went through 40 pounds of beef is what we purchased. And the salads and everything. So we ran out of that and then we purchased pizzas, so there would be food. And then we were selling pizza by the slice.
Mhm.
Cause it was still, I don't remember what time it was, but it was early enough in the evening where, you know, maybe you want something to eat, you're drinking, you're like, I gotta
Right.
get something to eat here, and you're out of food. I mean,
Pizza's pretty easy,
it's really hard to judge. Just like our Halloween was a pretty big success,
Mhm.
250 hot dogs and 5:30 we were gone.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
mean, all the chips and everything. Kids had a great time, but then you always wish, boy, if I only had 100 more hot dogs. But then what if you had, at the end of the evening, you had all this food and you had to throw it away?
Yeah,
So it's a balancing act and I don't have an answer.
I was just saying, cause they're right there, so if it starts getting low, it's like, get more, and then I wonder if you incorporate every restaurant, like,
Well,
Ray Ray's wants to do.
That's why we
Yeah,
did
and
like both restaurants last year. Instead of favoring one,
Yeah.
we ordered from Ray Ray's and that's just to be fair, and you have to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in a little community and you wanna try to do what's right for all the businesses, not
Right.
for just one business.
Well, I was even wondering soups from USA or something, like
Yeah.
incorporate the three, they
The
just.
USA did the beef, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah,
And,
40 pounds is
did,
what we ordered. And
That's
then,
what I was
The
thinking.
kid loves not donate that pizza?
I
Take
have
the
no
bike
idea.
ride? Yeah, you do.
Oh, no, oh, you're saying for the bike ride, I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
this.
they-
No, I.
Yeah, no, that, what was it called? Godfather, that was with the village though, I was setting it up, so I can't take credit for that.
Doesn't matter, I mean,
All right, well, it's just a thought. We don't have to decide this evening. I just have it on the schedule.
Yeah.
And same thing with alcohol because, you know, bingo and booze are gonna be two of our big money makers. I mean, this is the night we have to pull all the stops and make as much as we can to give us the ability to put other events on throughout the year. But then we have to be careful too, like asking, like we talked earlier, asking people because we're gonna be asking, but so is other people through the year gonna be asking to donate to their cause. So we're gonna do it in a tasteful manner and hopefully it's a success for us and it gives us the opportunity to put on other events. We'll have the Fall Fest coming up and then Cabin Fever, and that's the two things that we have planned. Jamie's gonna put on Halloween and she'll put on Easter. And we didn't spend a whole lot on the cost of putting the Halloween on. Actually, I was talking before the meeting to Gary and I thought it was a lot more than that. We had the smiles on the kids' faces were well worth, if it cost 3 times that much. But it was a low dollar amount and I think the kids had a good time.
They did.
So, all right, well, we'll work on the food and alcohol and
How'd
yes,
they do the alcohol last year? Was it like bought?
what we did was we purchased it from Burkhart's and anything we didn't sell, Burkhart's will take back if it's not open cases.
Oh, cool, okay.
We talked about buying kegs, but once you tap a keg,
Yeah,
it's
no.
yours, so you
Same
can't
with
do anything
cans.
with it. The next thing on my agenda is the bingo license. Gary, do you have any information?
Yes, bingo licenses have changed in the last 3 or 4 years, so it's kind of interesting what all is available. Used to be you could get a bingo license for like $500. Well, really for a charitable organization, you can get a bingo license for $200. You can have bingo games every week. You can do up to 25 games a session. You can have up to $2,250 of prizes. So that's one possibility, or the Grant Park Foundation went the route of 2 events for $50 a year, basically the same restrictions. Now, Village, as near as I can tell, and reading all the laws and all that are extant out there, we could do it like we've been doing it, in that we charge no more than $1 per card, and we kind of limit the prizes to $10-15. And we could do like 20-25 games without a license. We don't need to apply for a license, mainly because the building that we're gonna use, we allow senior citizens to meet for free. So that's the,
So do you think it's worth getting the license for the higher end prizes or not?
it's, there's some other requirements, and I don't know if the village could actually qualify, because everything is geared towards a charitable organization, like a 501c3,
Yeah,
and we're kind of not.
yeah, that leaves us,
Not only that, but like for the foundation, we had all the officers, they'd have their social security numbers and all kinds of things like that had to go into the state. And there had to be minutes from at least one meeting every year for the past 5 years. I mean, we wouldn't have any trouble with that, but it's like, who's gonna do it? And they'd have to be certified. And yes, I'd lean towards kind of doing it like we always have been. Slightly less prizes, slightly less money. The only other possibility, because any kind of raffle that you have, basically the village approves raffles. Usually we don't have an ordinance about raffles, so we just have raffles. If you kind of set up, well, you get a certain number of games when you walk in the door,
Yeah.
or like a donation prize, that's a possibility.
so does that still allow us to do like a 50-50?
Yes,
Even though we're doing bingo, we can still do
Yeah.
50-50?
you could do 50-50, because again, the organization that approves that is the village. And we're the village, so we kind of approve ourselves to do 50-50 and other kinds of raffle.
Okay,
The only other thing that we couldn't do without a license is do a jar game. Basically, you got a jar, and guess how many things are in it. I mean, that apparently is licensable.
What about full tabs?
And pull tabs, that's the other thing. Pull tabs, jar games. Also come up with a different kind of license, but basically the umbrella is the bingo license.
so and anybody have any thoughts concerning this license for cabin fever, whether we get it or we don't?
Don't you also have to have professional bingo people if you go to first round?
That's not exactly real clear. I thought so when I was looking at it, but it looks like it just, you have to have them approved. Again, if the village does it at this low level that we've done it the last 8 or 9 years, you don't have to have the people vetted by the state. So that's also a feature.
I think people are gonna play regardless. I don't think those big money prizes really make a difference.
It's more about the entertainment and getting a prize.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm relying on your expertise on this. You've done it for a number of years. So,
I guess I lean towards doing it like we always have done.
okay. I mean, if you feel it's not worth it, then there's no sense to pursue it. If there's too much involved and the outcome is not gonna be, you know, what
I
we
guess I'm
hope.
leaning towards that. Yeah. And again, if I had to make a decision, I'd say, yes, please, let's do it like we've always done.
All right, well, for right now, I mean, unless I didn't hear anything that convinces me to change what we're doing, and I think, we'll figure out, I guess, what we want to do for prizes. We might have some sponsor. Last year we had a sponsorship for,
And again, it's kind of vague. If you've got a sponsor or somebody donated a prize, is there really any value that exceeds our value? And it's kind of a gray area.
well, last year too, we got a cash donation, and I think we split it up in a number of gift cards.
Yes,
So it wasn't one lump sum, it was,
and that seems to work very nicely.
okay.
More of those kinds of prizes that people could get, seems like they're more industry.
For right now, let's just go ahead and we'll go with what you just talked about. If anybody has any comment on that? Okay, it just sounds like, for what Mr. Morgan says, there's a lot involved. It's not really clear cut. And we pursue it, and then in the long run, did we benefit from it? Because we would still have to make the initial purchase of whatever the license costs, and then we have to get that back to be at zero, and then hopefully make money from there. So, all right, so we'll, I think for right now, unless something comes up, we're gonna just keep it like what we have been. Is there anything anybody would like to bring up this evening that maybe I didn't cover, or As we get further or closer to the event, I will ask you what you need for help. If anybody likes to come and work with you and get set up and put decorations and, you know, the taking down and the cleaning up, that'll be taken care of, but.
Oh, thank God, because I can't be here. I can set it up,
Yeah,
but I have a commitment.
yeah, no, that's fine. We're gonna have, I'm gonna have a meeting the 27th at 5:30 at the Village Hall, mostly to discuss food and alcohol. You pretty much are all coordinated on what you guys are gonna do. And then after this meeting on the 27th at 5:30, I will post that, so if anybody wasn't here and wants to come and listen to me or whatever. We will have one after the holidays. They'll be getting closer to cabin fever. There's no sense to meet because we're kind of covered the bases that we need to. Mr. Morgan talked about the license. You've got a handle on how we're gonna decorate, and you've got your ladies that are gonna take care of it. After the holidays, we'll figure out when you want people here to give you a hand and get things arranged. And other than that, I think unless someone else has anything they would like to discuss this evening.
Oh, yeah, what time are we starting? Do we have a time?
We've got KGB coming from 8.
Right, so we have to be done with bingo and stuff by then.
Well, I think the bingo, we're gonna leave that up to you to start.
7:30. We usually kind of work with Doug to make sure that he's got plenty of time and we're not.
We had,
He starts setting up all the plans,
Yeah.
but again,
Because he'll come in the day before, so I'll let him in, he'll get his stuff set up.
that's true. He set up the day before.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
last year, we had doors open at 4, dinner starts at 5. And, dinner stops before the meeting at 5 to 8, and bingo is, I think bingo maybe started at 5.
That
So
sounds right.
4 to 11
It
was
is
the
settled.
total event time. Does that sound right? Is
Yeah,
that what
that
you
sounds
usually
fair.
do?
So
Yeah,
bingo,
it's,
bingo starts at 5 o'clock. or
5 to
something, right?
7, 5 to 7:30. So doors open at 4.
That sounds, okay, yeah.
And the bar starts at when, soon as
Soon as
the doors open.
open.
Yeah.
We want the,
It just, yeah, if there's a big enough crowd here, I just gotta walk across the street, I can, you know, anytime. So is there anything else you ladies would like to talk about this evening?
Yes.
Yes.
The parade,
He wants to put that off.
we're gonna put that off.
He wants to wait with that.
Well, you
Oh.
have time.
What? Yeah, well, I can,
Discussion of other events.
yeah, we can talk about it. I'm not gonna really, until we get closer to fest, we'll talk, or closer to a cabin fever, and we'll start having meetings discussing the fest, but go ahead and, whatever you're.
Volunteering to
Oh.
handle.
I just want to be in charge of that parade.
Okay, we'll make sure, everybody heard this.
Parade.
Right, her name is.
It's recorded.
The
so
parade and the
You
theme.
can't back out now. So, yeah, cause there are several
By
things,
parade, I mean recruiting,
yeah.
not organizing like you do. We
So
can't
there'll be,
replace, we can't replace you at lineup.
There'll be several things that when it comes time to talk about the fest that we're gonna have to go over. There's a few things that we need to get ironed out on.
It's gotta be longer than, it's gotta, the parade route's got to be longer than what it was.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have, there is gonna be some changes that I'm gonna put in. And then we'll discuss it a little further, but yeah, for all the years that we've had it here, the parade always went kind of this.
Site girl up, we'd be lucky to have somebody who's gonna recruit parade and here's, I think that'd be.
My
great.
first thing is to get Moments Gladiola Princess and Queen in the parade.
Well,
That's the first thing. And bands and horses and golf carts.
and
Yes.
as long as and then the whole thing with the fest is, it has to be in our budget. It has to be a budgeted item that we can afford to put on, because the last couple of years, it hasn't been real successful for us, so we.
gonna come to the parade, we ain't paying them to come.
No, but the thing is, we cannot continue, the fest will not continue the way it has been. That's bottom line. I can tell you that much right now. It hasn't done well the last 3 years. So that's in the past. We're moving forward, but it won't be that way from here on out. We cannot afford to do that.
It seems like in the past, a lot of your expense was the fireworks and insurance for it. So what else was the biggest expense? I mean,
Well, when you rent, when you
the
have,
tent, yeah, they didn't have a tent last year.
we did downtown stage and the tent.
I mean, not this big like you used to, not the huge tent like you used to.
It was
years
the same
ago.
size, it was just over the stage instead of like standstill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, if the people who have lived here a number of years remember when this whole thing started, we had a dinner in this building. And then, we're in no competition with any other community but us. And every time you keep adding or making it bigger, it's the money that we're gonna raise in February that puts on these events through the year. So we're gonna look at several different things. And tonight I will recruit you. You're gonna we'll get you an official hat or something.
Already voted on it.
She's there.
So,
We got that covered.
yeah, we'll
And
take care of that.
I'd also volunteer to do publicity.
Okay.
She's very good.
But, yeah, when we get more things wrapped up here, then we'll start, meeting every, I don't know, month and a half or so for the February fest and get some things lined up because, for entertainment and different venues, we can't wait too long because people get booked up and then we're not gonna have it. So, yeah, we'll see what our budget is. I will discuss it with Mr. Morgan and we'll see what we can afford to put on.
But see, what I'm thinking. For instance, I'm just using this as an example. The Glad Princess and Queen, you don't have to pay them, it's just an honor for them to come. You know what I'm saying? And-
Yeah, I know,
And
but I
they-
mean,
and
here's the thing that we had in the past. Everybody thought that we had a band here. Once the parade was over and fireworks, people were gonna rush over here. Nobody came. I live across the street. There was like nobody on the
no, I
street.
mean a band on a hayride.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm saying, the things that you think you're gonna bring people,
Oh,
like
right,
people are
right.
gonna come here and drink it. People are going home.
Right.
They're not interested.
the fireworks.
Yeah.
Over, yeah.
And like last year, I called the fireworks guy, he said they could give the same thing that we had the previous years for $300 less. And there are other options, but I mean, when you're talking $9,000 right off the top, I mean, if I had $9,000, I would like to make improvements in the park building here.
Especially if it's just for 15 minutes worth.
Well, the last one we had here lasted just under 12 minutes.
Mhm.
This, and then there, you have to realize that you're not recruiting anything. You're entertaining people.
Mhm.
What we used to do, 30+ years ago when we moved here, we take the kids and park on a county road and watch features.
Yes,
And you think like there can't be possibly a traffic jam out here in the middle of nowhere. And everybody's going home the same time you are
Mhm.
because you got chewed up by the mosquitoes that are out there. And now you're all trying to race home. So, yeah, we will come up with some ideas and hopefully get back on track. And the ultimate goal on that would be if we broke even, that would be a very successful event. We put something on for the village and it really didn't cost us a lot of money.
We were all careless one.
So we'll see what happens. But does anybody have anything else to say, or anything you want to discuss?
I was wondering, Ben, does
Yeah.
anyone know what happened to the star that used to be on top of the grain elevators?
No, I can ask Dan. I see him about every morning.
Yeah, that was so pretty.
I will talk to him and
Yeah.
see if he knows anything. So.
Okay.
Anything else, lady? Anybody in the audience?
And you mentioned, Fall Fest, when's Fall Fest?
Well, we have a tentative date, and the tentative date right now, I believe is, what was it?
I think it's
The Saturday, the weekend after Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah. So, and we just picked that day because the car show guys are already making their agenda for the car show.
And it might not be on.
Yeah, and so we're gonna discuss that, but tentatively, that's where we're at right now.
This person has it going on, the parade is not an expense, and she and coordinating with other people make that more of an event. The first year could be a little dicey, but if it works out, well, you'll get more people, and then you can build on it. You have a good theme.
Yeah,
Alright.
yes,
It's gonna be better.
what?
Grant Park goes country.
I don't care.
Cowboy boots and line
As
dancing.
long as
I
you
like
don't
that.
call it, let's have Ben, or let's beat them up, or chase them out of town, call it whatever you want.
It looks like 6, 7.
Oh, it is.
September 7th.
Ladies, do you have anything
No.
else?
No.
No?
You?
Tom? Okay, if there's nothing else to discuss, the next meeting will be November 27th at 5:30 at the Village Hall. And I am gonna be just discussing alcohol and food sales, everything else that seems to be in place. So I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting, and I thank you very much for coming.